Hey guys, welcome to RC Video Reviews. Tonight we're taking a first look at the Durafly Goblin. This is a plug-and-play format from HobbyKing. It's a little speed racer. It's a little lightweight, fast little plane. It reminds me an awful lot of the EF Extra. It looks a lot like that airframe in terms of size and capabilities and probably even the motor. So what I wanted to do first is give you guys a look at the box, and while we're looking, take a look at this, just see how it comes packed, and this is how it comes out of the box. So, and there's the top cover, and there is an external box. I took the wrappers off, and I've already done a little bit of pre-work inside so we can move along quickly during the review. So I wanted to give you a look at what it looks like when you take the lid off, all right? So that's how it comes, although keep in mind, there's plastic wrap around all of the parts. So I took all the plastic wrappers off because I hate doing that kind of stuff in a live session. So now you've got to look at that. What I'm going to do is pop over to the blackboard. We'll cover some specs, and I'll say hello to everybody while we're getting ready for looking at the airframe itself. So it's like Freddie made it in first. Freddie's been back on top on the first game. If you guys are playing that, you better pick it up a little bit if you want to beat him. I know Bill came in and he thought he had first, but he didn't. So good to see you, Bill. Glad you can make it. Jan S says, this thing is a year old. Not to me. It's brand new to me. No, I don't know anything about a V2. Might be. If there's a V2 out there, I'm unaware of it. How about that? So let's see. Mad Bren. Hi all. Typical Fred just jumps in. Yeah, Fred doesn't waste any time, man. He likes that first game and he does it well. He's got I mentioned it, he's got those twitchy helicopter pilot thumbs, so he gets things done quick. So I've heard. Drone pilot, how you doing, Elias? Fourth, yeah. I know, right? It's a serious thing, man. If you want to be in the top, in the top of the thing here with RC Video Reviews on the Pilot Jam or the live stuff, you got to get there quick, man. Some of these guys don't waste any time at all. Okay, so let's see. Mad Bren, I already got Brendan, and we'll see what else. Who else is here? Mr. Skyrider. I saw that comment. Mr. Skyrider let all the magic smoke out of an old Charger. That's unfortunate. Well, hey, opportunity to upgrade, right? Philip Jang says, hello. How you doing, Philip? Glad you can make it. Another Aussie. PS says, awesome. Very good. And Mark Drury, hey, from the UK. Hey, Mark from Florida. How are you? Oh, I bet him to Friday's video. I think you guys are going to have to stay up late to beat Freddy. And another Aussie, Raymond from Australia. Boy, we got Aussies representing tonight, man. I think you guys outnumbered the Canadians. In fact, do we even have any? I don't even see any Canadians. We have 1, 2, 3 Aussies. That's what I see. Yeah, 3 that I know of anyway. All right, so let's get to the specs real quick. The wingspan on this guy, 820. That should be millimeters, not meters, of course. That's not meters. I don't know. I got to get some extra help, man. My editing, I'm not going to be able to fix it here. 820 millimeters, 32 inches. It's got a 615 millimeter length. 24 and a half or 24 and a quarter inches if you live in the US. It's got an all-up weight of 820 grams. It's got that Aerostar, I believe it's an Aerostar, maybe Eternity. I'll take the prop cover off and we'll look at it, but it's got a 3536 1400 kV spinning a 4-cell battery and a 7x6x2 prop and a 45 amp ESC. Only 3 servos on this thing. You only have the ailerons and the elevator, no rudder on this one. And I thought the real cool thing was only $109 shipped. I mean, granted, it's a small plane, but the electrics are still there. And I'll tell you what, having come from just buying some electrics for a helicopter, that's definitely the expensive part. So the electrics are pretty much standard. I mean, 45 amp ESC, 3536 motor, and 1 fewer servo than a standard. So yeah, it's impressive that they get this one out the door. And that's US money, of course. Your mileage may vary depending on where you are. So let's see. I'm just going to check comments and we're going to run back over to the video. RC Woz Dude says this plane is not new, been out for a while. Yeah, I know. It's new to me, though. It's new to me. And Cantney, hello from Great Britain. How are you? We're in lockdown, so we need entertainment. And now with the government saying we need social distance from our kids. Wow, that's savage. Anyway, bring on the videos. That's right. I figure, it's just another look. Maybe you haven't seen it before. I know sometimes people don't, go out and shop around and look around, so that's all right. It's new to me. No, it has a vertical stab build, but no rudder. So let's get to the camera. We'll take a look. So I got it out of the box, and what I'll do first is like I always do, we'll just take a look at the fuselage. They have a couple of two different schemes. They have a pink and blue, which I just couldn't handle, and they have the red and black, or the yellow and black, which I thought was actually kind of cool. It's a tidy little configuration. You can see the ESC is already installed in the bottom. That's the Aerostar 45 amp ESC. Everything's already connected and mounted. You do have to glue things. I noticed on the bottom right away, there's no hard point mountings for the wings, so it looks like these are going to get glued in. And I know that's true for the horizontal stabilizer and the rudder, or vertical stabilizer. There's no hard mounting points, no screws, no attachments, so it looks like it all gets glued together. On the inside, I do like it when they put the tape on like this, so the canopy just pops off. And I already put a little battery in there. That is a 4-cell 1550 that I've got in there, and it fits. I don't know about balance. I've seen several different comments on balance. I've seen a couple of people say that you have to put weight up front to get it to balance. I'm not sure. I'll figure it out when I do mine, but it does feel heavy up front. I can tell you that. It does feel heavy, so we'll see. But I've read comments that say it requires some weight up front to get it to balance correctly. And I think that's even with some of the bigger batteries too. So I'm going to pop the battery out just so you guys can get a feel for what's going on inside underneath the canopy. So again, these are quad batteries. I use these in my quads, 4-cell 1550s, and these are the Liperiors. By the way, I'm still liking these RC Liperior batteries, so if you have access to them, I'm still a fan. So far, they've been serving me quite well. I like them. All right, so there's a look inside. You can see there's definitely some room in there. Like I said, I've heard people mention that they have to cut out foam inside so they can get the battery pushed far enough forward. Again, I'll find out more as I put mine together. And then regarding the spinner, it's kind of an amusing little front end because look how big the spinner is and look how much of that prop area gets taken up by the spinner. It's only a 7x6 prop in the first place, but man, that spinner is huge. And I'm going to give you the top-down look so you can see it. This is another thing that I've heard complaints about is the thrust angle. And I'm going to tell you, honestly, I don't really see a thrust angle in there, to be honest. I'm going to have to check that too. I definitely see downward thrust. That's pretty obvious to me. I'll see if I can get it lined up on the camera so you guys can see it as well. It's kind of hard to do that, but it definitely has a downward thrust line coming off that nose, no question, but I'm not sure I see the one to the left. That is not readily apparent to me. But let me go ahead and pull this spinner off so you guys can get a look at the motor. You'll probably get a chuckle at it because these motors, a 3546, a pretty big motor. For such a small plane anyway. So 1400 kV. All right, so we'll just hopefully just pop this off if I have any luck at all. And I didn't think to bring in a driver. Give me just a second, guys. Let me grab a driver. I want to pull the prop off so you can see what's going on up front. My apologies. I didn't think about the prop nut on there. And of course, I don't have one big enough. Well, we'll have to go without it. I don't have a driver nearby. It'd be too long of a delay to go get one. So anyway, there's the front end, the little 7x6 prop. One of the comments that I read about this prop is that they're a little flexy. So I've seen complaints about that these 7x6 props are a little flexible and they flutter at speed. I'm going to try it the way it comes and I'll see what happens. But I can tell you as far as the fuselage goes, everything looks clean. I don't see any dents or divots. The decals are obviously already applied. This is going to be a fast build. It's not going to take long to do this one. A little bit of glue and putting the spinner back on, of course. It should be a pretty quick build. Everything inside is pretty much already done. Servo wires are very easy to get to. There's the elevator, there's the ESC, and then of course the ailerons will come up through the bottom when I put the wing on. So the fuselage is tidy. Notice it's got the clevises on the back with the fuel tubing. I like it when they do that. It's good when they add those little touches. So fuel tubing on the back for the clevises to make sure those stay closed. And yeah, everything up front looks good. No concerns on the way the fuselage is laid out. Now let's take a look at the wing. And one thing you'll notice right away, I'll try and get it in the camera for you, there's a pretty good amount of dihedral in there. So that should add to stability. On the bottom side, you've got the servos, the wires are already tucked in, and they come right up through the center, and they already have a Y cable connected, or a Y harness connected. On the wings where the servos come out through the top, there's a clevis already attached to a control horn. And while these are not the screw-in type, they do have the press fit with the clamping plate that latches onto the rib coming out through the bottom of the aileron. So that's good. Everything there looks fine. In terms of the leading edge of the wing, I don't see any issues with that leading edge. It looks very clean. Looks like the tips turn down a little bit. That's unusual. Normally they curve up. You normally see a little bit of upsweep at the end. One of the comments that I read, it had to do with Expo, and the guy almost sounded surprised. He's like, man, you got to use a lot of Expo on that one because it moves so fast. Well, yeah, I mean, if you have a fast mover, that's kind of a known thing, right? You have to use Expo because when these things are moving really quick, you just don't need much movement on those surfaces. So kind of nice that it's already really done. I mean, very little work for us in terms of getting this thing ready to fly. Everything's already connected. Now we'll have to see, of course, how we're doing in terms of, whether or not everything's centered. That's another question, but the leading edge on the port side of the wing looks very good. And again, the bottom is turned down, so that's a mold issue. It's not it's a design issue is what I'm saying. It's not a fault. That's the way they designed it. On the trailing edge, we'll just take a look real quick. I don't see any problems there. I almost looks like there might be a little bit of twist in this one. I'm not sure about that. It almost looks like that's just baked into the wing because it's even on the left and the right. So it looks okay. I guess that's not torqued. That's just the way it's shaped, I suppose. We'll see on the left hand, on the starboard side, if we got the same issue. So yeah, same thing on the starboard. It almost looks like, I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but when I look at the trailing edge, it almost looks like it turns down right here toward the end. And here's the edge of the aileron. So I'll just put my thumb on it to cover the gap. So it does look like there's a little bit of a turn down, but it's lined up perfectly on the inboard and outboard gap. So if it is twisted, it's by design. They meant to do it. All right, that's good. The wing looks fine. No complaints. It's basically perfect. I don't have any, there's no hits, no fit and finish problems, nothing that I see on there that looks problematic. Here's a vertical stabilizer, again, no rudder, and this is glue in, so no movement at all. This is just a vertical stabilizer. Total yank and bank plane. That's simple. And then the elevator, it looks like dual elevator connections, which I don't mind. I'd prefer that to a torque tube. So the elevator looks fine. I'm looking in the seam for tape or glue. They do that on HobbyKing planes sometimes. You'll see a bead of glue or some tape in there. I'm just going to take a look at the seam and see if I see anything. No, I don't see any tape. And I definitely do not see any glue. So this one, probably a good candidate on the elevator, at least for Blenderm tape. If you're not familiar with that, it's a clear hinge tape that works really well on EPO hinges. I will definitely do that on this plane, because it's going to move quickly. I know that. I'm sure of it. But yeah, glue in affair, and it looks straight as an arrow. I don't see no problems. There's no damage, no deformities. Everything looks the way it's supposed to look. Kind of hard to tell on the trailing edge because it's got two different elevator halves. So that's that. And then as far as the parts go, let me just open this up real quick. I saw a comment in HobbyKing on their website about spare props, and they're not wrong. No spare props in this thing. So we'll take a look at the instruction manual real quick. Okay. I hope, well, there's CG. There's CG, there's the throws. That doesn't look like the instruction manual. I wonder if maybe the manual's online, or maybe it's this little white thing right here. We'll see. We'll get this out and take a look. Okay, so these are just decals. That's it, decals. And then this is a belly plate for landing, and that's it. Am I missing something? Nope, I'm not missing anything. That's it. That's the box. That's the kit. So pretty simple build. I mean, you're going to glue a belly pan on, glue the stabilizer, the horizontal stabilizer, vertical stabilizer in the wing, and you chuck it and go. That's it. That's all there is. All right, let me go back and take a look at comments and see what I've got. And then we'll probably be able to wrap this one up kind of quick. Here, I just want to get the plane back out and put it up there just in case you guys have any questions about the fuselage. But yeah, neat little plane. I like the color scheme. I think the color scheme kind of pops. I know that yellow is going to look good. Yellow and black always look good in the sky, so I'm happy with that. I think that's a cool color scheme. All right, let's see. Don't have any planes, John. Would it be a good first? K. Anthony, no, man. Don't get this as a first plane. This is unless you like to repair. This is definitely an advanced plane. It's the reason I say that is because it's going to scoot. I don't know for sure, but it may have some stalling tendencies at slow speeds. It's definitely not what I would consider a good first plane. And it's also kind of small. Honestly, a bigger first plane is not a bad idea. Bigger is better because it'll help you with orientation. So I definitely would not view this as a first plane option. Let's see. Welcome to the deep rabbit hole, John. Well, thank you. I appreciate that, man. I thought that's got to be a reference to the helicopters. No rudder. Already covered that. Pink and blue. Come on, John. You know you really wanted that one. No, I can't get my head around pink and blue. That doesn't work for me. I like this one. This one looks pretty tough. It looks rugged. I like it. Looks aggressive. I like the scheme. Elias says, how does one get to the ESC if you glue the wings in place? That is a good question, Elias. Let me see. I'm gonna go with you don't for 100, Bill. Yeah, if you glue the wing in, you're not getting that out. Not without some surgery. You might have to take the battery tray out, but yeah, there is no. I was kind of looking to see if perhaps on the back side there might be room to sneak it out. But honestly, if you did, you're gonna disconnect the motor leads. So yeah, what's gonna wind up happening in that case, Elias? You're just gonna do a surgery right here. And you'll cut a rectangle right here out of the bottom of the wing. And if you do it really neat with the blade, it's not too hard to put that kind of thing back. That's one of the nice things about EPO. A little black tape, I could make it look like it was never even, like I was never even in there. How easy would it be to FPV it? Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. The problem I think you'd have with FPV on this one is finding a place for the equipment. So the battery fit in there. But when I had the battery in, it was a very close fit for the canopy. So unless you had a deck built up top for the camera gear, it might be a little bit of a challenge. And it is fast. So if you want to FPV it, that's kind of cool, but it's quick. Not that you have to fly it fast, but just be aware. You don't get the ESC at 199. It's one and done. Yeah. There is an ESC in there just for clarity, but yeah, if there's an ESC problem, you'll have to cut it out. You have to cut the foam out of the wing. You just use a sharp knife. I've done this kind of stuff before. I've done that on planes like that I've set up for long range endurance FPV. And if you have to get into the flight computer, I've cut like entire sides off of airplanes before. And what's cool is they just kind of fit right back in. Not so much with paint, but if you have white EPO, they just fit right in and you can barely tell you've done anything. So let's see. Eric D. Johnson, peace, brother. Thank you. Appreciate that. Mr. Skyrider says Ski-Doo colors. Yeah, I guess. I've never owned a Ski-Doo, but if you say so, I'll believe you. Ace Trek says HKing is probably going out of business because they got fined $28 million for selling video transmitters. Yeah, that was a couple years ago. I don't think they'll get put out of business. I don't think the government is trying to put them out of business. But that was a couple years ago, and they're still chugging, so we'll see. Eric D. Johnson, Aero Scout is the best first plane in my opinion. I think if you need a best first plane, K. Anthony, I would go take a look at Crash Test Hobby Albatross. Go take a look at the Crash Test Hobby Albatross. That is a very, very good first airplane. It's EPP, very graceful, can take off of grass. If you trim it right and balance it on the CG, you can land it just by turning off the power. You don't even have to fly it. It'll just kind of land by itself. And it's durable. So check out the Crash Test Hobby. I've never flown an Aero Scout, but Eric, I know a lot of guys have very high opinions of those planes. I've never flown one myself, though. How are you liking your power screwdriver? I love it. If you guys are following the channel, I do use this quite a bit. And, you know, my one big question on this thing was the torque. And the torque is a thing, but it works as a manual screwdriver just fine. So if you're trying to unlock something that's got a little bit more torque than the driver wants to give, you just let go of the button and just give it a little twist, and the driver does a pretty good job. And then all you have to do is press the button and you can turn the driver and go again. And normally it's 1/2 turn or so, and I can get just about anything I've touched loose. So I like it. I keep it right on my desk, and I'm using it all the time. So I am liking it. So good question, Troy. RC Unex Tuesday. Hello from the UK. How's it going? Well. Glad. Thanks for joining us. Welcome from Florida. Z Bear says I love mine. Oh, did you get one, Bill? That's good. I like mine. I like the screwdriver. It's good. So can the Aero Scout. I'm not sure what that. We were talking about the Aero Scout, so I'm not sure what that comment's about. I'm sure it's a response to something I said. The fine issue just came to a head, and HKing said they can't pay it. Yeah, well, we'll see. Again, I doubt that they're trying to be put out of business by the government. I don't think that's their intention, but we'll see. But you know, if they do wind up going out of business because they violated the rules, then you know that's their deal. Bill says, I love my Albatross. Good, man. I'm glad you're having fun with that plane. That's a good airplane. All right, guys. Well, listen, I don't see any other questions on the Goblin. And unless there's anything else, I think that puts us at a good stopping point. We can wrap this up. I hope you enjoyed the first look. I got to tell you, for 109 bucks, I'm not disappointed so far, but proof's in the pudding. Got to fly it, right? And I already know it's going to be a little bit of a handful. I've seen a couple of different bits of advice in terms of power. Some guys say 75%. I saw one guy say full power. I've seen other people say 50%. That's always the trick with these little things, because when you spool them up, they do tend to roll. But one guy said, just punch it and let it go and it flies straight out. So that might be worth a try. I might try that. But anyway, that's it on the Goblin. Be on the lookout for the Maiden. I'll get that done as soon as I can. And I have flown this thing's cousin. I've flown the EF Extra, and that is a fun plane to fly. Boy, it just covers territory so fast. And I'm sure this will be much the same way. This is in the spirit of the Rare Bear, if you're familiar with that one. Anyway, guys, thanks for joining me on this first look. That's all I've got for tonight. Oh, James Nathaniel says hi from Australia. Make sure you put down thrust in the Goblin and cut out the firewall so you can move battery forward. Yep, I was talking about that earlier. Down thrust in the Goblin. I actually see down thrust. I don't see left thrust. That's what I'm missing. But all right, guys, that's all I've got for tonight. I appreciate you joining me for the first look at the Durafly Goblin. Keep an eye out on the channel for the Maiden. That's all I've got for today. Take it easy.